Let's talk about choux crème. Who doesn't love a good cream puff? But replace that cream with some custard. Oh, custard puffs are on another level. They're light, but you get a creamy surprise when you get inside. And they always look good because they don't depend on your fat fingers to decorate them. The pastry I'm going to make consists of 3 elements: the craquelin topping, the choux puff, and the vanilla custard. Also, put a tray in the freezer. Do it right now. First, for the craquelin topping. I know it's pronounced craquelin, but seriously. Melt some butter in a pot, then add flour and brown sugar. Stir it together until it forms this pasty consistency, and then put it between 2 pieces of baking paper. Flatten it with a rolling pin. Put it in the fridge to cool for about 30 minutes. Next, we have the choux pastry. Put water, caster sugar, and butter in a pot. Cook until the butter has melted, then add flour and mix until a dough forms. Work the dough on low heat for a while to get rid of some of the moisture. The reason we do this is because if the pastry is too wet, then it won't rise properly because it's not dense enough to trap the steam. Once a thin layer forms on the bottom of the pot, take it off the heat and let the dough cool for 15 minutes. Once your dough is cool, beat up some eggs in a separate bowl. Then slowly add to the dough while mixing to combine. This is to make sure the dough doesn't become too wet. It should form a V shape on your spoon when it slides off. Now put it in a piping bag and pipe onto a baking tray. Just keep in mind they'll expand when baked, so please do reasonable sizes. Now to top with Craquelin pastry. You can use a cookie cutter or just approximate because you don't have any. The more layers, the less cracks, so I went with 1 to 2. Once that's done, bake in an oven for 20 minutes at 180 degrees. After 20 minutes, open the oven door to let the steam out, then bake again for 10 to 15 minutes or until golden brown. Once your puffs are done, take them out and let them cool completely on a cooling rack. They should still stand up after they've cooled. If they haven't, well then, you done goofed, haven't you? Now finally the custard. Heat some milk in a pot, then add vanilla extract. You could add any flavour you want, since the idea is just to infuse it into the milk. Cook at medium-low heat until fragrant, and then take it off the heat and let it cool. Time to beat up some more eggs. Combine egg yolks and caster sugar and whisk vigorously until you see the veins in your forearms. If you've already got inhumanly vascular forearms, congratulations. In that case, just whisk until the mixture lightens in colour. Sift in cornstarch and cake flour, and then mix to combine. Strain the eggy mixture into the milk to rid of any floury clumps, then chuck it back onto the stove. You want to cook it until it thickens considerably. Then quickly pour it out into that tray you've been keeping in the freezer, and then cover with Glad wrap. Let it cool in the fridge for at least an hour. If you want the custard to taste a bit lighter, whip some cream and sugar until stiff peaks form, and then stir it into the custard. Whoops. Listen out for the safe word and don't overdo it. That's better. Now to pipe. You can either make a diagonal cut in the puffs, or just poke a hole. And the custard is too watery. Guess I'll have to make it again. And the camera decides to stop filming. So I guess it's time to use your imagination. And that was a choux crème. It's the second thing I've ever baked, which means it's surprisingly easy. The oven does all the work, and you get to take credit. Just keep in mind they don't keep very long. So you should share your puffs amongst your cream enthusiast friends.